Bill, you said you guys need to start over. Have you ever had to do that before, 5 games into the season, just for reference? I mean, is it something new?
Yeah, I've done it before.
What does that entail, starting over?
Starting over.
Chatty guy.
Deep
Bill
thoughts
Belichick.
by Bill
Yes.
Belichick.
Look, I don't know how you start over 5 games in. I don't know what reset button there is to hit. I don't know what you do. I mean, the obvious thing is you bench your quarterback. I don't think quarterback is even the start of the problem.
Yeah.
To me, what's happening with the Patriots is very simple. For years, Bill Belichick, the coach, was so good that he was able to overcome the
Maybe
imperfections.
a roster deficiency or
the
anything
imperfections that he created as the guy who was buying the groceries and cooking the meal.
Sure.
Now, there's a certain point where there's no groceries you can buy. There's no cooking you can do that can make up for the groceries that you have.
Yeah.
He's got nothing, and it's on him. And there have been times when Robert Kraft has talked about this, and he emphasizes Bill's in charge of everything. So he's responsible for everything. And it's not just, well, what can we expect the coaching to do? The team's not very good. He's responsible for the team. He's responsible for everything. And right now, it's horrible. 72-3 in back-to-back weeks. That is beyond embarrassing. Robert Kraft has to be beside himself, and we're in that zone where if you're thinking about making a change, what are you secretly doing behind the scenes? You're figuring out who it is you want to interview. You're starting to do your homework. Why would they not be, at this point, thinking about what's next? And people think it's going to be Gerard Mayo. The risk for Mayo, the defensive coordinator de facto of the Patriots, is you're too associated with this. They may need to hit the button,
and get a full
and
new
start
fresh
over.
Start, right?
We have
No more
to
Belichick
disinfect.
anything, right.
Yeah, we have
We
to
just need
disinfect the organization.
Yeah, I mean, I think there's some valid thoughts to that right there. I do. It'll be interesting to see where this goes. Shocking, right? I mean, shocking to see a Bill Belichick coach football team not only lose the way they do, but not only to lose by the scores they do, but to lose the way they have with just sloppy play, big plays. I mean, the offense and the turnovers and all of that. They're not even good enough where they're capable of managing the game around the roster right now, like you're talking about. That's the horrible thing. They're a team that's not built to play from behind, and they've gotten behind in a hurry early on in these football games because of mistakes. So that's been an issue. Yeah, Mac Jones hasn't been great. I know that. But like you said, there's a ton of problems here. There's no doubt. And you just look at the Patriots and, like you said, the coaching's always been great. It's been able to overcome a lot of things. But, and it does feel like, hey, we're 2023 modern day NFL. It feels like the Patriots have been unable to adjust the way the new game has gone. That's what I'm just going to say. I don't mean that to be disrespectful, but the game right now is about fast front sevens, fast pass rushers, fast middle linebackers, right? They got none of that, right? The offensive side of the ball, every good team in football has got what right now? Good receivers. Like, oh, crap, they can change the field or come back or blow us out here in 2 seconds, right?
They've never been able to draft and develop a good receiver.
So there
wasn't a 7th round.
No, right. And the league is set up right now for that style of play, and they can't even take advantage of it. And then, okay, yeah, they'd like to maybe run the ball and do that. Well, they can't do that. Their O-line's not good. It's a little beat up, so they're not capable of doing that. And Billy O'Brien's offense is solid, but it needs a run game. It's not like he's the Miami Dolphins and he's got all these tricks and things to do it that way. So they're banged up in the secondary, and we know that's one of the things where Belichick does even the scales, right, with great secondary play, and I can do all these crazy coverages. They don't have that. So there's a number of issues right now there up in New England, and like you said, I don't see a spot or a light at the end of the tunnel. I go, ooh, they're close. This is going to turn here soon.
The second worst loss of the Belichick era yesterday, 34-0 to the Saints. 1 week after the worst loss, 38-3. And you can take 38-3 Cowboys because there are teams that are going to lose to the Cowboys 38-3.
Yeah, once they can get rolling and
Right.
they make plays, right.
But to have the Saints come into your building, the Saints who are middle of the pack, nobody really knows what they are, haven't looked great, aren't a juggernaut, they come in and they win 34-0. That's a different kind of mark that it leaves. And for an ownership group that has become very accustomed to competing for championships, this is the biggest slice of humble pie they could be forced to eat. And I think that's part of the problem, too. And you've made this point a couple of times. Bill Belichick has been so unpleasant with media, and he can get away with it because he wins. He never would have lasted in New England if he hadn't won. But there's an arrogance there. And let's be real about it. And I haven't been afraid to say it when I've said for years, hey, Bill, if you don't like being questioned by the media, go coach high school lacrosse and be paid accordingly. Because one of the reasons why you get all that money is people give a shit about the sport and they want real answers. They don't want Johnny grumble, grumble, grumble.
Right.
And it's not all some big secret that you could say something useful that isn't giving away your battle plans for the next game. But there's an arrogance that oozes over to the staff. I think it's one of the reasons why when guys leave and go elsewhere, Patricia, Judge, they have that arrogance from Bill Belichick baked in, and it's all being blown up right now, and it just feels like it's ending. And whether they call it a mutual parting, whether it's a resignation, I don't know. But this is not sustainable, and they still have 12 games left. And the past 2 weeks are as bad as it's been, and there is no hope it's going to get any better, Chris, than what we've seen. Last week was the wake-up call, and this week was the product of the wake-up call, and it was worse than last week.
Yeah, in a lot of ways it was. Like you said, it was the Saints, a team that has not been real good offensively. You think, oh, hey, wait, we turned the ball over last week. We'll fix that issue. What happens? Mac Jones holds the ball a hair too long as he's stepping up in the pocket, waits to the last second, and as he's throwing the ball, he gets hit right into Honey Badger's hands, and that becomes a pick six. And you're going, damn, the game just got going here. They're down 7-0 and kind of jump-starting the Saints. The Saints get the ball back. Derek Carr hits a big pass to Rashid Shaheed. It sets up another touchdown. And then they stop the Patriots again, and they go right down the field and just slice them up like no problem. And the game was over. It was like, whoa, it's halfway through the second quarter. It's 21-0, and that's all she wrote. We're done here in New England. And, of course, it just continued to go worse and worse for the Patriots from there.
Not many teams are built to come back from 21-0. The Steelers and the Patriots are the
definitely
at
on
the top of the list that are not built to come back. You got to keep it close, and you got to hope that you can pull it off. And when it's 21-0, it's just go, leave now and beat the traffic and go home and take a nap if you're a Patriots fan at that game. Here's Bill Belichick after the game on whether or not Mac Jones is still the starter for the second straight week. He was pulled once the game was out of hand.
Is he still your quarterback going forward?
Yeah, there was a lot of problems. It certainly wasn't all him.
I'd like to say he is one of them.
He's one of them.
There's a lot of problems that it would be hard for any quarterback to overcome, but still, he's the guy. So what else they got? Bailey Zappi's the backup, and they were comfortable cutting him and assuming no one else would even claim him on waivers.
Right.
So that's your number two.
Yeah.
At some point, you just got to throw Will Greer out there and see what he can do. They need a spark. They need to do something.
No, I know. They definitely need a spark. I don't know if that means bench Mac Jones. I don't think that's it. I think he's going to be realistic enough. Again, like we've had that conversation before, but they're going to go back and go, yeah, Mac Jones isn't doing good, but he's like kind of far down the list as far as problems we got as a football team. So I think that's where they'll try to stay the course and limit one less distraction, right? So they don't have to talk about that and Belichick being fired and what's going on in New England. I don't think they'll do that. I don't. But there's got to be a total different way of, I think when he says start over, an approach on how they're going to play that's got to change. And what that is, I don't know. I really don't. But they're in a tough spot there. And it doesn't look like things are going to get better, anytime soon here. And it's crazy. Yeah. And you're right too with Belichick needs to, answer, talk, let us know what you're thinking. If you're going to say start over and whatever, just, hey, it's okay to give us a little bit of a clue of what you mean by start over, right? I think that'll, smooth over the fan base a little bit. But instead he does that, and I think it honestly angers people. And they're like, what kind of answer is that? You're a jerk, and you're 1-4. And what the hell does before mean? What does that mean? And I'm not doing it. I'm trying to say it to help the guy. To go, you're bringing this on yourself to a degree right now. You're making it double worse than it has to be because of the way he does treat and talk to the media.
Remember when Tom Coughlin was on the hot seat in 2007 and it changed? Not that any personality changes from Bill Belichick are going to matter. And look, we are who we are. And he is who he is. He's made it this far because he's been a phenomenal coach. He's overcome the fact that he does, when it's time to talk to the media, maybe not interact the way that he could. You know, him and Saban are close.
Yeah, sure.
And Saban can charm you at a press conference. When you go back and read the transcript, he didn't tell you anything.
Yeah.
But you can
he says a few funny things, and he laughs and makes it.
And and Belichick has just decided he's going to erect this wall, because you hear all the time, "Oh, he's so much fun if you get him away from football." Well, when do you ever get him away from football?
Yeah,
Football's
we don't
all
live
he
in
does.
that world. That's what we are in.
It's like what makes someone like that happy?
Yeah.
When you're just miserable all the time, you exude to the world you're miserable all the time. I feel bad for him.
Yeah.
For a guy that's got 6 Super Bowl wins, I feel bad for him, because I feel like he's never been happy professionally, because there's always something that's irritating him, and through that irritation is how he finds excellence.
His great curmudgeonness is what made him great. You know, his ability to go like, wait, we just won the Super Bowl, and the next day he's walking down the hallway of the Patriot place and like in deep thought about, wait, we just won the Super Bowl yesterday, but how are we going to win the Super Bowl next year? Like, he literally is. It starts that quick. I mean, it really does. There's some famous stories in football about, like, on the plane rides home from the Super Bowl, he's already talking about next week's schedule and what's going to go on. Everyone's like, wait, we're still drunk and celebrating the Super Bowl. What are you talking about? So that's just the way he is. That's what's made him great. I want to say this one last thing about Mac Jones, because I was talking about this with my dad a little bit over the weekend, right? Mac Jones is a good football player. He knows how to play the position. He is a little bit of a system quarterback. He's not going to be Josh Allen or Mahomes and just hair on fire, I'll make plays happen and throw lasers and all that. But within that, yeah, they're doing him a disservice where they need a intricate, detailed system. I think that's what he would benefit from. But he's going to have to change his throwing motion. He's going to have to change it a little bit. There's no doubt about it. Even there were some throws yesterday where I just go, ball floats in the air too long. Even on the ball that ended up being an interception where it was a bang-bang, hit and catch by Ty Montgomery. I mean, he was open. Drive the ball in there and throw it. He's going to have to go back to the lab a little bit, and we've seen other quarterbacks do this. I've seen Mahomes. I just talked to him about it. I've talked to Allen about it. I talked to Joe Burrow about it, where we got to make a tweak here to improve my throwing. And I think Mac Jones definitely has to do that, because arm strength and some of those game-changing throws you're talking about, they don't happen enough for a guy that was drafted in the top 20. And that's definitely where he can improve his game for sure.
Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.